Hello, everybody. This is King Heart Channel. I'm just back again to talk to you guys. I want to talk to the churchgoers today. I want to talk to the churchgoers, and I want to get into the revelation of my dream, and I want to talk about it. And I think that you will benefit from hearing this. Let me set up my camera the right way. I don't need too much light. But here we go. Guys, there's a deep revelation of what's going on today. And there's a people that are called to be a part of the uprise. There he is. And I've been watching it. And I'm one of the people, whether it's small sector or large, it's got to happen. It's going to start from our beginning. The revelation of understanding is freedom. I wasn't told that or taught that. I got that in my revelation, and I decree it to be true. It is judged by the Spirit. Understanding is freedom. Because if you don't have it, you might not even keep what you do have because you don't have understanding. With all that get an understanding. Understanding goes adjacent to the science of people, not just religious talking points. You see, this is real, what we doing. The revelation that our Creator has given to us, it comes deep as a water. You see, it's deep as what we know to be deep. But yet we are the vessels in the bodies that are entrusted to convey these messages and to be in the development and responsible of sustainability. So here I am today, and I've been having dreams that I don't share with the public, but it's time to. Okay, now, I'm not going to be holier than thou. There's a reason for that. Or I'm not going to be what people say and what the church have said holier than thou is. See, that's a Jedi mind trick. Because we have gotten so away from what we need as a sharpening for community. First of all, let's be real. Every group do not exist the same way. That's why my channel is about Black Uprise. I understand that in the natural sense, Black people are being harmed and being attacked, and Black people have been harmed and shoved around by other people. Now, as far as all human existence, in my revelation, everybody have a spiritual warfare. And some of that spiritual warfare is deserving of karma in terms of what they have done as a group and forefathers to a nation or to a people. We have to understand this layout. We have to understand this code. We have to understand it. So we as a Black people, we've served a nature with our natural being. We have served the nation with our natural being. Nation. We have served in a way in which we suffer with our natural selves and our natural blood. So that's a natural suffering to me. And then it becomes spiritual due to the fact that your intellect becomes involved, where you have to be forced to change your mind just to progress or to provide a service. And I'm talking about the American Negro. And not only the American Negro, it's global. But I want to talk about us because I choose to practice self-preservation. Because there's many many people of the Most High who are supposed to stand in the gap in terms of their family and community. Because your community is your family and your family is your community. Why do you think the word self-preservation is important? The first rule of law, which people do practice, which we have been divided and shaped from as a black people. We don't necessarily practice self-preservation in my assessment, but it's the most important thing we can do according to how the society exists. Then people get the memo of black people concerned about themselves economically, politically, physically, and we begin to get the betterment of exchanging. We begin to put ourselves in the slot of a more comfortable anchor because now we oversee our matters. That is what's going on also, according to what happened to us and according what is happening to us as black people. But I think also black people, we fed into the Jedi mind trick, but we bought into the illusion that we are okay and we are doing things right. As we go along, come on, Kwame, with the get along gang. I have to say it. Kwame Brown been saying that, but it was in my spirit. As we go along with the get along gang. And that's the truth. And I mean, even in the church, where a lot of us young people are deterred from the church. Now, there's a deterrence from us from the church, and there's several reasons why. There's two main reasons that I can think of in my assessment. One is hypocrisy. There's a tremendous amount of hypocrisy. The other is there's not enough care, not enough sustainability, not enough outlets to say that you really care about the community. When you have built a facility with escalators in them, and the next door neighbor can't have a roof on her 2-bedroom house, no more than 1,000 square feet, and she's paying her tithes every Sunday and can't pay her light bill, and maybe even one of her grandchildren, the preacher done got a hold to them, because you know there's hypocrisy in the pulpit. So we dealing with that, where the preachers now are having sex with people and not truly being leadership and the epitome and to embody the real leadership that the community deserves. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, and then there's a lot of denial and care and aid. So we're giving to the church, and it becomes something now where we're looking at it as though we are shaped in a feudalism outside of it. We're not a part of it. We're not building. And I'm saying this, let me slow down, because there's once upon a time that black people understand that the church, the building, because it's just a building, we the church, we are the tabernacle, we are the sacred piece, us, human beings. But the building is there for our protection. It was there at one time, the church, the building, the cathedral was there for schooling, voting. We had meetings there. Why do you think during Jim Crow, our churches was burned? Or during the end of slavery, where we would all gather for safety to teach and tell each other how to move in a political atmosphere, how to move and how to educate and teach each other words and numbers so that we can be broad and sophisticated according to our society. So we can be adjacent to the intelligence of society. We will go to the church. That is a covering. That is a protection. And what the church has done is built massive institutions. But they serve in terms of giving you a message oftentimes, especially our churches. You got the Church of God in Christ. You got the Apostolic. You got the Baptist, Southern Baptist. You got this kind and that kind. But we're serving the idea of something and not really serving it. We're giving it glorification and praise, where we're suffering in the community politically, and personally. See, we don't understand. We putting a lot of these churchgoers, it's been a problem. Because a lot of people go to church feel that they're safe being holier than thou. I mean, and basically shunning the community. When you above family, you too high. And the fall oftentimes can be fatal, according to that. These are the revelations that I will get in my dream, because I'm going to share with y'all. I was born with the gift of, I'm a minister, and I have been in the church ministry. A lot of us, I come to learn, that are ministers, that are thought leaders, and take up the baton of any type of leadership, have the gift of ministry. Even people like Tariq Nasheed, he's a minister. Vicky Dillard, she's a minister. A lot of people have the gift of ministry, and a lot of people have an education that afford them in terms of understanding how to use words and understanding dynamics and how to convey messages on top tier levels, so that they get the masses of people to come and be part of the traction of what needs to happen. And we're still looking for liberation as Black people, and freedom. That's freedom, because we're still behind enemy lines in a natural sense. But in a supernatural way, we also exist there because we're human. We're tabernacles, and we're sacred. So we have to use our intellect to be a part of that, and we have to use our intellect to come out of that. And that's what we're doing now. Whereas though we're in trouble physically, financially, socially, where we now are experiencing a hardship in the natural sense as a Black people because of what we experience. Now, I had a dream, and in my dream, sometimes when you dream, you don't necessarily see what you dream, but you feel it. Let me speak to that. And I got a revelation that the church is the building, and we are the church. The church is the building that's there for our protection as a community. And can you protect the community without offering safety in every sector of their experience? Where you got counseling, where you got people speaking to our body of laws and not just trying to get money and tithes, people who are able to talk in terms of what we need politically, because they said politics and religion shouldn't mix. Well, I'm starting to get a new revelation on that. In terms of a people, we as Black people are peculiar people. We have to have safety, and we have to have a safety net. We have to have a support system. The church has been turned into something with us. It's been turned into all that holier than thou, all of that one-sided religion where I got it this way and you got to go this way. No, our Creator is too big to be forced down anybody's throat. But he definitely is the golden rule. He definitely is respect. So we have to come in format to the table, whether it be our elders. But everybody needs to understand it's out of order. And a house divided against itself will not stand. So we in here and we looking at one thing: Jesus, 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 or God, God, God. But we're not looking at ourselves as gods who are made in the image to partake in the leadership of what we have, the reins of power in the world he's given us, in the world we have, where our church needs to understand if that's the only way you can reach Black people is here. We need to begin the process to reach our Black people, because we're preaching in the church word about who's sleeping with who, and sexuality, and talking about who's stealing something and this and that. But we're not putting any emphasis on our shaping and who we need to go to in terms of that, and how we need to be as a unit in terms of that. That's why the churches was burned down, because it was a place to empower ourselves one time, the black community. So what is that telling you? The message that we're teaching in New Voices of Black Media about this war and the way people are, it should be also designed around the church where black people gather, because we've chosen a different route. We've disconnected ourselves from reality in the church and in the community. So we got some churches do practice this. My son found a church in Atlanta where they got K through 12 schooling. They got a bookstore. They got all this stuff. And from where I'm concerned, I went, and he's one of the cameramen there. And I went to the church, and the pastor, he don't dress up. He just wears regular clothes, but he has a cathedral-like building. And they serve the community every day. The people come and go to school there, this and that. Nobody's talking about, well, we saw you do this or do that. No, there's a rhetoric back and forth. There's an anchoring where there's already a respect in the atmosphere. There's no judgment. People go in there, and I don't see a lot of churches like that. But I think we need to get that blueprint and build from that blueprint. The church is a space you should be able to come on a regular basis. I think it's a facility that belongs to the community. It's not what we've been saying, everybody. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. You can be shouting happy. You can be that. You can have that tangible religion. But you also need to know other people need to be who they are. And then we need protection. And we need to pull people in terms of getting them centered about what they need and how they need to believe, what their intellect need to point to, sustainability, what their intelligence need to be about. Whether it be counseling, whether it be, and there's so many ways to create these lambs. So many ways. Where there needs to be us understanding our politics. We need to understand there's a day and time for us to talk about that. And we need to get people there so they can hear this. Because where else we going to get them? We're not dealing with white folks. We're dealing with black people who have been shunned from learning, who went through a sector of life understanding with the understanding endowed in them that they should not be able to learn. So once we get a attraction to something, that's where you get us at. We're not white people. We're not Asian, where they understand it differently. They'll go anywhere just to get knowledge. Black people won't do that. We building to do that. We have to first get it where we believe we should be. And that's the only place black people believe they should be, or either at the club. And the church is for your protection, not for you to practice being holier than thou and try to put somebody else down and judging people. It's there for the community, the involvement of sacredcy in terms of being together as a unit. It's there to center the community. But that's all I want to say. Thank you for joining me.